Hey folks, this is Kalani. We finally have a release date for patch 8.3. We'll be delving deep into the visions of N'Zoth on January 14th. That's for North American realm, so add a day for Europe as per usual, but with the release date locked in from the dev team, we suddenly have a bit of a deadline to work towards. There's a variety of things you might want to finish up from 8.2 or 8.25 before the next big patch rolls around. So let's have a look at everything you should get done before patch 8.3 goes live on January 14th. One of the most important things you want to get done before patch 8.3 is pick up all of the essences that you're going to be interested in. Sadly, the dev team does seem pretty stoic about essences not being account-wide, so I don't think we'll be seeing that anytime soon. Maybe in 8.3.5, but that's not going to help us right now. So you have some time to get the rank 3 essences that you know you're going to be using in patch 8.3 without having to worry about being left behind in the next patch. Some of them are tied to content that's going to be outdated when the next patch rolls around, which might create a few problems for anyone who is significantly behind. For example, if you haven't been playing the game during patch 8.2 and you want to come back for patch 8.3, you should actually come back now and start progressing through reputations, Nazjatar, Mechagon, the whole shebang. If you come back on patch day thinking, alright, sweet, I can just get caught up to speed real quick with this stuff and play the game, you might get a bit of a shock when you realize that several essences you need to get your hands on are actually from old content. There's nothing worse than being behind when a patch rolls around, especially when you're forced to go back into old, outdated content to get caught up. What makes matters worse is that because the content is outdated, it's actually going to be harder in some cases because you won't have anyone around to help you. Everyone else will be enjoying the new fun stuff, and that's probably where you want to be as well. So it's a good idea to get at least some of the essences right now so you have most of what you're going to need when the patch finally hits live servers. There are some essences of note that I would recommend you focus on. Firstly, hop on over to Wowhead or Icy Veins or your class Discord and see what essences people are recommending for your class and your specs. Make a note of those ones, then hop on over to Warcraft logs and check what other people are running for various types of encounters. That will give you a nice point of comparison for the guides and make a note of the really popular essences. You can probably safely focus on these ones first because chances are you're going to be using at least one or two of them for the rest of the expansion. There are some specific essences worth mentioning too. The Condensed Life Force essence has been one of the most powerful essences for the majority of this raid tier, for a lot of different classes too. This essence comes from the Eternal Palace raid, so it's really easy to get right now, but when the next patch hits, the number of groups running the Eternal Palace will drop significantly, making it a lot harder to actually get in the raid to get the essences to begin with. So if you want the Condensed Life Force essence, try to get it before 8.3 goes live. It's going to be significantly easier. The essence is receiving a few nerfs going into 8.3, so it might not be as powerful going forward, but I would play things safe and pick it up just in case. Another essence to keep an eye on is the World Vein Resonance essence. This is the Island Expedition essence, which makes it fairly easy to obtain. Up until now, the essence has been kind of useless, but it's getting a massive buff in patch 8.3. The major power is going from a 50% increase for 10 seconds to 300% increase for 18 seconds. I don't think I can remember any ability that's ever seen that kind of buff before. It's absolutely insane. That might just make it worth using in the next patch, but we'll have to wait and see how it matches up against some of the new essences as well. I would cover your bases and make sure you have this one at rank 3 ready to go. It's a super easy one to obtain, so it shouldn't take too long. And then there's also the reputation essences from Nazjatar and Mechagon. My recommendation for this is going to be a bit different. You don't have to get these essences at rank 3 before the patch hits, but you can set yourself up to get the essences on patch day. That's because patch 8.3 will be reducing the requirements for the Rustbolt Rebellion and the Nazjatar rep essences quite considerably. You won't need to hit Exalted anymore to get a rank 3, you only need to hit Revered. The other ranks were knocked down a rep level 2, so rank 1 is now friendly and rank 2 is honoured. If you don't want to grind more than you have to, you can leave these reputations at Revered and wait until 8.3 hits to buy your rank 3 essences. That will save you a lot of time on any alts that you want to play or for anyone returning to the game. The Nashatar essences didn't have any other requirements changed that I know of, but the Mechagon ones will also be cheaper to buy. Right now on live servers you need a total 62 spare crates and 27 galvanic oscillators to get your rank 1, rank 2 and rank 3 of a single essence all in one go. That's your total cost of materials. In patch 8.3 that's being reduced all the way down to 30 spare crates and 13 galvanic oscillators. That's less than half the previous cost, which is a huge time saver for anyone who doesn't have these essences yet. The currency grind could have actually taken longer than the reputation grind, so it's nice to see both have been reduced. So to get a Mechagon essence, all you need to do is collect 30 spare crates, 13 galvanic oscillators and get to Revered. Then wait for 8.3 to go live and you can buy up a rank 3 essence from nothing right away. It's much less effort than getting a rank 3 right now, so I would probably wait. I would also say that rank 3 of the Purifying Protocol essence is going to be a huge pickup for any DPS that don't already have it. We're going into a patch where almost everything you fight is going to be an aberration thanks to the Void. At least out in the world. The new raid will also have a lot of aberration bosses, and the Purification Protocol does extra damage against aberrations, so it might end up being one of the best essences for this patch specifically. Just something to think about. Patch 8.3 will also be introducing a new pair of allied races, the Foxy Vulpera and the Mechanical Mechanomes. As always, they're going to have a few requirements you need to get done before you'll be able to create these new pint-sized playable characters. Thankfully, you can get all of it done before the patch goes live, so that's one more thing to add to your list. To create a Vulpera on the Horde side, you'll need to finish the Voldoon questlines and obtain the meta achievement Secrets in the Sands. That should be a shoo-in for most Horde players at this point, but then you'll also need to reach Exalted with the Voldenai to earn the achievement, the Voldenai. If you've been slacking on that until now, you have a good chunk of time to get it done and dusted. For the Mechanomes on the Alliance side, you need to finish the Mechagon storyline and obtain the Mechagonian Threat achievement, and finish off the Rustbolt Rebellion reputation by getting to Exalted. Those are currently the only requirements, and as I said, you can get it all done right now. If you tick all of the boxes on patch day, you'll just have to complete the introduction quest for your allied race of choice, and then you can create as many as you want. Or if you don't fancy leveling up again, faction change whenever character you're looking at playing as a Fox or Robo Gnome and go to town. I wonder how many Vulpera we're going to be seeing running around on patch day. I think it might end up being one of the most popular allied races that has been introduced so far. If you want to go play one, get all the requirements out of the way before 8.3 goes live. While most patches introduce an entirely new zone or area to explore, 8.3 is going to work a little differently. We'll be revisiting the Vale of Eternal Blossoms and Uldum, and those are the two zones where most of the new content will be in this next patch. So there's no new boat to find and no new portal to hop through. You're going to have to get to these zones in the already established methods of transport. Before patch 8.3 arrives, you should familiarize yourself with how you're going to get to the action. For Uldum, it's actually super easy. Both capital cities have a portal down to Uldum in the Cataclysm Earthen Ring area. That portal slaps you down right where you need to be, so that's really handy. But you won't have a quick way back, so make sure your hearthstones are set in good locations. The Vale will take a bit more legwork. You can find a portal to the Jade Forest in your portal hubs, and from there you can either take a flight path to the Vale, or if you don't have that yet, you're going to have to fly yourself. Make sure you grab all of the flight paths you'll need to quickly get to the Vale in the future. I think it's just the one near the portal in the Jade Forest and the one at your faction shrine in the Vale. You shouldn't need more than that. Then when the patch hits, you'll be ready to hit those zones ASAP, instead of trying to figure out and remember how to get there. This is also going to be a great patch to make friends with some mages, as they can portal you straight to the Vale or back to your capital from Uldum to make travelling between zones super trivial. If you don't know any mages right now, you have about 3.5 weeks to buddy up to a couple. Patch 8.3 also introduces a new raid tier, and as per usual, when a new raid comes along, all of the achievements for the previous one will become unobtainable. The key achievements on this list are Ahead of the Curve and Cutting Edge. Ahead of the Curve will require you to kill Queen Azshara on Heroic mode in the Eternal Palace before the next raid lands, while the Cutting Edge achievement is going to be a bit harder to pick up. That one requires you to kill Azshara on Mythic difficulty before the next raid releases. The raid actually opens up a week after the patch arrives, arrives, so that gives us a deadline of January 21st for all of these achievements. If this is something you want to add to your achievement collection, your time is running out, so be sure you stick it to Azara before 8.3 arrives, otherwise you're going to miss out. There are a few things you can do to prepare for some of the smaller things in 8.3 as well. Island expeditions will get a new vendor, which might make you want to hold on to every single doubloon you can get between now and 8.3. The vendor will sell crates of salvage, which target specific monster types and specific island expedition maps. What each crate can contain will depend on the island and targeted creature, so if there's something you've been holding out for or farming your poor little brains out trying to get from the island expedition feature, you can now buy crates upon crates of salvage to get a few more attempts at the gear, the pets and the mounts that you're searching for. The crates are being sold right next to the other vendor, so it's super easy to find, and it uses the same currency that we've been collecting for the past few patches, Seafarer's doubloons. I think for the most part these salvage crates are going to be more valuable than the other goodies you can buy with doubloons, so I would suggest you save everything until patch 8.3 hits. If you want something very specific, you could even farm a few extra islands here and there to stock up on more doubloons before the patch hits, so you can buy more crates right away. All in all, it should be much easier to get the items you're actually after from island expeditions. Something else you can start working on now for 8.3 is old legendary weapons. That might seem like a bit of an odd thing to start right now, but patch 8.3 introduces the ability to transmog any old legendary items without any of the previous restrictions. So if you want to mog your Thunder Fury, you can do that. If you want to run around with the real Sulfurus, you can do that too. Shadowmourne, Taragosa's Staff, even Atiesh if you have that from way back when. Obviously, you need to have unlocked the legendary, finished the questlines and gotten the achievement to be able to transmog it. So if you haven't finished up some of the old legendaries but you fancy the idea of transmogging them and running around looking all cool and snazzy, you have between now and 8.3 to get your legendaries completed, so you don't have to spend time on it in the next patch. Personally, I'll be sure to finish off my mage's Taragosa because I think that staff looks amazing, and I might work on one or two others in my spare time. It's pretty awesome that we're able to transmog legendaries from here on out. It was a bit of a strange restriction to have for so long. Customization has always been a big part of the game, and restricting the transmog feature so heavily will always be a mistake in my opinion, but I guess Blizzard are finally starting to agree, otherwise we probably wouldn't have gotten this as one of the BlizzCon rewards. If you're struggling to find something to do, working towards or finishing some legendary weapons might just fill in the gap between now and January 14th. You can also keep farming gold if you want to get the Brutosaur mount before the next expansion rolls around and it becomes unobtainable. Level up your alts with the current anniversary event because that's never going to get easier than right now, and just enjoy the game. Try not to burn yourself out before the next patch actually hits, even though I know it looks like there's a lot you might need to get done. Essences are a huge pain in the rear if you haven't been playing for most of patch 8.2, and I think that might actually be the worst part of patch 8.3 right now. Not being able to swap characters or having a huge mountain to climb up before you caught up, it puts a bit of a downer on the patch as a whole, but thankfully 8.3 looks like it should be a lot of fun for a lot of people, so I'm still super excited for January 14th. I've just resigned myself to the fact that I can't really swap characters and any alts I have will be a bit behind. It's not ideal, but I just don't have the patience to put in the time to get all the essences up to rank 3 again. It's just not going to happen. Hopefully some of the new essences in 8.3 will end up being super powerful, so none of us have to go back to the old content. But that's everything you should get done before patch 8.3 arrives on January 14th, and that's it for this video. Do you have a list of stuff that you're working on over the holiday season? What do you think the most important thing to prepare for in 8.3 is? It's the essences, isn't it? It's always the essences. Leave all your thoughts in the comment section below. A big thank you to all of our supporters over on Patreon. You can see their names floating by on screen. If you want to join these lovely guys and gals, you can find a link in the description below. Remember to leave a like just below the video before you leave, and if you want to see more, make sure to subscribe. But apart from that, thanks for watching folks, good luck and have fun, and as always I will see you next time.